Welcome back. 9:19. A little bit of change. Jamie Goble back in studio. It is warm down here today.
It is a little toasty.
We're going to get through this together, though, and I really appreciated the first time we had you on talking all about Medicare and with Medicare Insurance Techs, and this time of the year, I'm sure, is when you're already getting a lot of emails and a lot of correspondence, but now with, the government shutdown, I'm sure people have a lot of questions and see if it affects them.
It's getting crazy.
So fill us in. Let's kind of talk right about, though, where we should start, and that's Medicare AEP. So what does AEP stand for?
So it's open enrollment. Our annual enrollment period is what it's technically called. So it is October 7th through December 15th. That's where anybody who's on a Medicare Advantage plan can kind of move around, check other carriers to see if there's something else they like better.
Well, and now, with that being said, are there any plans or benefits that are changing this year that folks need to be on the lookout for?
Tons of them.
Oh, really?
So there's all different carriers out this year. So there's a new carrier that's their second year. It's devoted. Then there's Aetna, United Healthcare, Humana, Blue Cross, Molina, WellCare. There's so many of them.
Really?
They're all competing with each other.
And now, what does that look like from a consumer standpoint? What do you look out for in that, or what do you work on with you?
So I would look up their doctors and their medications. And this year, if they have a chronic condition, they're eligible for more stuff. If they have Medicaid, they're eligible. They could be eligible for like food and actually getting help with utilities and gas, all kinds of stuff.
Well, and now how would we just find that out? By just going through you and just giving out our qualifications or giving out those kind of that set criteria?
Yep. So it goes by your zip code, your county, your Medicare number, Medicaid, all that good stuff. Help with medications this year is really a big thing.
Well, and see, that was one that we talked about the last time around, too, was it just seemed like there were folks that, were overpaying for their prescription because they weren't in the plan that they really needed to be a part of.
Yeah.
Well, and now with that being said, too, some people who have TRICARE or Medicaid could get money back from the Part B premium. Is that true?
Yes, that is correct.
So what is
if they're
that?
eligible.
So what's that mean? Just for to break it down to layman's terms for someone like me to understand if that makes sense.
So with Medicaid, they could be eligible from the state, so Medicaid could pay their Part B premium.
Wow.
When it comes to TRICARE, there are certain plans that will give you money back on your Part B premium.
Really? So how much savings is that typically? Is it just per person? Is that dependent on the case?
It depends on the eligibility.
Okay. And now, do you have any upcoming opportunities, too, for folks to kind of start looking at all of this? Because it seems like now would be the best time to start doing it with that period starting October the 15th. Let's start talking about it and getting ahead of the game a little bit.
So I have a couple meetings here, two of them in October, the 9th and the 23rd. They start at 6 p.m. November, I have two on the 13th and the 27th, same time. And December is the last one on the 4th before the end of it.
What I think is really important, though, is just hearing how you talk about, Medicare and how you talk about the industry. It's very A to B, and that's really how it should be, for folks that, like me, that don't understand, and that way there's no gray area, there's no fog. It's just, here's here's where we're at, here's what you qualify for, and then let's get everything else taken care of, and that's really how simple it should be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, and now, how long have you been in the industry, just for the folks that are getting refamiliarized with you?
8 or 9 years, I do believe it's been.
So you pretty much seen everything that you can see when it comes to the
Yes, it
the
keeps changing. Every year it changes.
Well, and now, how does someone get started, I think, is another really important topic, too. If they've never been enrolled, or maybe it's time, what's that process look like, and how do you do it?
So if you're getting ready to turn 65, you would get in contact with the Social Security office and see, they'll tell you how much your check's going to be and all that good stuff. Or you've been disabled for 2 or more years, you could call them and see if you're eligible, because they're already getting a disability check. Okay.
And now, how does that process work through you? So after you figure out where they're at, let's say it's 65, or let's say, the disability for 2 years and they qualify that way. What's that next step on the ladder? How long does this process take to get set up and enrolled? Is it as easy as, a day, a couple of days, or what's that turnaround time look like?
So anything that we talk about now in a meeting, we would go through all their medications and all their doctors and the hospitals they like to go to, and every plan that we set up now is going to start January 1st.
Really good to know. And so that way too, if someone's turning 65, like right when January rolls around, or, right when that period starts, are they eligible, or do they have to be 65 to call you and start the process?
They don't have to be 65 to call and get information, no.
Okay. And now, with that being said, why don't we do this? We're just now started getting talking plans and benefits that are changing this year a little bit. We mentioned that. We also talked about some upcoming meetings. We're going to circle back after a quick little break, and we're going to come back, talk a little bit more about this, and start answering some questions too for everybody right after this on RiverBender and Roku TV.
Throughout all life stages, you need someone in your corner, guiding you on your health and wellness journey. At OSF Healthcare, that's your primary care provider. Your OSF primary care provider is there for every stage of life. Find a provider today at osfhealthcare.org/primary.
Not sure if you've noticed, but those advertised prices from the other dealers are just a bunch of blah, blah, blah. At Roberts Motors, the advertised price is the price you pay. And that, my friend, is great news for you. Don't fall for their so-called incentives that will leave you banging your head against the wall. Go with Roberts Motors. Prices you can trust and people you will like. That's the Roberts Motors way. And trust me, it's the way to go.
Has free checking become a thing of the past? Not if Liberty has anything to say about it. With 3 free personal checking options and even a free business checking account, Free is alive and well at Liberty Bank, the local bank that gives you free checking choices and more cashing in your pocket. Bank locally, bank Liberty. For more information, visit www.bankliberty.com.
You're listening to Our Daily Show with CJ Nasello on RiverBender.com.
Gonna get fired if I don't get some sleep. My long lost buddies say I'm getting in too deep, but I like it, I love it, I want some more of it. I try so hard, I can't.
927, welcome back, Daily Show. On a Monday, we're back with Jamie Goble, Medicare Insurance Techs. What's the best way to reach out to you and get everything started, or to learn more about upcoming meetings?
I would say just call me. That's the easiest way.
Mm-hmm. Well, and a lot of this too, and I'm sure you get this quite a bit. Maybe somebody has recently been, widowed, or they lost their partner, significant other, or they're just, kind of on their own with not all. It can be overwhelming for one person to handle. So what do you kind of recommend for somebody that's a little bit nervous because, we've heard these words on television all the time, and now it is time to get enrolled?
Oh, yeah, because they have so many ads going out, and they call them constantly. What I would do, I go to a lot of people's homes. They feel more comfortable there, and just sit down and talk to them about it. And the good thing about these plans is you're not stuck. So if you don't like this plan, come January, you have from January 1 to the end of March, which is OEP, where you can move around.
Is that open enrollment period?
Yep. After annual enrollment.
That's really good to know. And now, if someone wants to set that up, do you just recommend calling your office or emailing you to set up a time to meet at home if that is what's most comfortable?
If that's what's more comfortable for them.
Well, and when you're meeting with clients, I know it's a lot of times it's so specific to that individual because of just the way this all breaks down. But is there, a moment where how you can see kind of in that first consultation that it's all starting to make sense? Because to me, I'm telling you, I'd be sitting there just looking at you going, this sounds pretty good, and because it's foreign to me,
Sometimes they just have to give the plan a trial run. If they don't like it, then I can come back and they can try something else. But I'm always there to answer the phone if they have any questions about if a claim doesn't go through, or if they need help getting their medications and they don't qualify for extra help. We can always call the carrier and get them on a plan so they can pick up their prescriptions for $0, and then they can have a payment arrangement with their drugs.
That makes sense. And now, who should consider attending these events? I mean, I know obviously for the folks that are in that age category, but what about caregivers or family members or someone that's going to be, in the know, so to speak, about the estate, and then, maybe power of attorney and all that important stuff later on?
Definitely, because I'm my mother's power of attorney. So if you have a power of attorney that shows up that can constantly remind somebody who's having memory issues, that's good too.
Well, and see, that's really great to note. And how much space is available for these upcoming meetings? Are they limited?
There's usually about 10 or 15.
Okay. And just to go into the meeting a little bit more, what should folks bring with them to make it easier on them?
So they can bring, I'll have booklets that I hand out, and I'll give them my cards. A lot of times they want to set up a meeting that's one-on-one, so we're not discussing their personal information after that, but it's just general information about, what's going on.
Well, it's that first step, which I think is the most important one too. And as you've been doing this, have you seen the room starting to fill up pretty good when it comes to these events that you're putting on?
Yes, it's been getting busy. Yeah.
Well, that's really good to know too. And honestly, what I think is important to know is for everyone else is that you've been working with so many folks across all walks of life that, with your experience, there's not going to be one individual that, you haven't heard of that type of story before, that what we're working with story before,
Yep, and I'm licensed in Illinois, Missouri, Arkansas, and Florida.
Oh, really?
All over.
That's really good to know, too. Okay, so with that being said, let's go a little bit back into the plans and benefits, because you said they're changing this year. Now, are they major changes, or are they ones that you got to kind of look for to notice the change?
It kind of depends on the plan. Some of them are major changes. Some of them are not a big deal. It's all just plan specific.
Okay. Well, and now, how do people know if they're getting all the benefits they qualify for? Is that going to be just dependent on if you're doing your due diligence and we're doing our due diligence and homework?
Yes, I think you should definitely check every year, because since I've been doing this, the last few years, they've changed drastically.
Really? That's actually, well, and see, that's good to know. And even if you're already signed up for Medicare, in these, you should still probably go to go to the class or one of your seminars too, and just learn a little bit more in those programs.
Yeah.
Really good to note. Okay. So what are some of the misconceptions that people have about Medicare coverage? Is there anything that you can kind of, that you get on the phone a lot? I don't want to put you on the spot with it, because I know that
It's they think it's one size fits all.
Okay.
Like if my neighbor has this, why don't I have this? Well, because you don't have Medicaid, or that's what it is.
that makes sense. And because I hear that a lot too, where through the family members and all of that, where hey, he qualifies or she qualifies for that, so why am I not qualified for it? Very fascinating. And now, whenever we talk about the upcoming meetings and everything else, when do you recommend folks kind of act on that first meeting? Because to me, it's one of those where you want to just kind of get this process done. The more you wait, the more stress it causes. Are you pretty good about turnaround time after that first, initial consult meeting?
Yeah. I usually, if they come to meetings, they usually make an appointment with me right there.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. Okay. With that being said, let's go back over the dates and times again. So October the 9th, that's going to be here before we know it. That is Thursday. I had to guess.
Yeah.
I didn't have my calendar in front of me. 6 to 7 p.m. right here at the Teller Room, which is the community center. It's the Teller
I
Room.
actually moved it upstairs in my office.
Really? I'm sorry.
That's okay.
What's your office?
511.
511, and so you just go to the 5th floor, and then you'll see it right there on floor 5, correct? And just head right into the RiverBender building and take the elevator. That's October the 9th. I like that you moved it up to your office. That's a really great spot. And then October the 23rd, that's 6 to 7. All these meetings are. And then November the 13th, November the 27th, and then December the 4th is that last opportunity, correct? And then what's the best way to email you?
You can do Jamie Goble, MIT @gmail.com.
Okay, and then before I let you go to, and we're going to link that email, I wanted to ask you about just part A and B, just a generic, what's it cover? Because that's wherever I get confused. And I know I don't even have to think about this for quite some time, but whenever I hear it on television, I'm like, well, let's break this down a little bit for maybe just the simple terms.
So A is for hospital, B is for medical, D is for drugs.
Okay. So like hospital, like stays and all of that, and then is medical appointments and
doctors, yeah.
I'm getting this figured out, Jamie. And if I can figure it out that quick, I know that Jamie will take care of you and you guys will be off rocking and rolling. What else should we talk about right now when it comes to this?
Well, just try to get prepared, even if you're already in a Medicare Advantage plan or already have whatever you have with your prescription drugs. I would just call whoever your agent is or call me and we can go over it.
That's really important to note. And we'll see you October the 9th or the 23rd. And then we'll see you in November. On November the 13th, November the 27th, and December the 4th in Suite 511 at the RiverBender building. Just go up to floor 5 and just head right over into Jamie's office. And we'll link everything in a write-up on RiverBender.com. Jamie, thanks so much for stopping by.
No problem. Thank you.
And then if you wanted to put a note in here, shouldn't have ended yet, with the Social Security office, if folks have any questions about this, is that the best place to call?
When they're going to start, yeah.
Okay, and that number is 618-225-7967. That's 618-225-7967. Jamie, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break, link everything in a write-up on RiverBender.com. Your Monday morning continues right after this quick one on Roku TV.